16 days of activism against gender-based violence. It came and it's gone. Did anything change for any of the Tamars in our society? I know there was a lot of work being done to make people aware of the problem. Churches preached against this and did even some more work to bring it to the attention of people. But nothing, I think, has changed for any of the Tamars in our modern day society. We know that the men in the Tamar story, that they all failed her. Today we will look at the last of these men, her own brother Absalom. And if we read the story of Tamar, we hear that Absalom, actually hated his brother Amnon for what he did to his sister. And he took his sister into his household. But she remained a desolate woman. She could never reach the full potential that God placed in her. We read in Scripture that she remained a desolate woman. She was not reinstated to the former place she had in society, the standing she had as the king's daughter. Somebody with a bright future ahead of her that was now destroyed by this deed of her brother Amnon. This whole family in the end gets torn apart. Later on in the story, Absalom kills Amnon, and David's soldiers kill Absalom while he's hanging in a tree by his hair as he rebelled against his father. This whole household was torn apart, and it started with this atrocity that happened, this sin that happened in that house. If we look at the story, we're quick to think that Absalom was the good guy here, that he actually took his sister in. He did something, but he didn't do what he was supposed to be doing. We also read there in that story in 2 Samuel chapter 13 that he remained silent. Absalom was the one that could have gone to David and say, "Dad, this is not right. You are in authority and you have power and you have all the abilities to set this right. Why don't you do what the dad is supposed to do? Why don't you reinstate our sister to a formal place that she had?" But he remained silent, we read in Scripture. He didn't say a word. And I think our churches are very much like the Absalom. We will pray for these women. We will listen to their stories. And I've heard, and this is not made up, of 2 of these women whose husbands were elders or deacons in their church. And then the minister would say, "Surely, sister, this cannot be true." Because it also happened that these guys were giving lots of money to the church. And who would want to lose that money? And so, sister, you must be mistaken. I'm sorry to say, but I cannot believe the story. This is the type of reaction that these women often find when they try to go to a church for help. Or the favorite line is, "We are so sorry to hear about this. We will pray for you. Tell us what we can do. We will support you in any way we can." And then they are left desolate, trying to fend for themselves without real support. Well, if we can pray for something, if God brings it to our attention that it's prayer worthy, then at least we should be able to try and do something as well, shouldn't we? We cannot just with words confess what we with our hearts should believe and in our actions should demonstrate. Tamars do not need to remain desolate. Tamars can be reinstated. Tamars can be set right and helped on a path of recovery with the correct and proper support from a society that lives what they believe instead of just getting angry and throwing words out there. In the first clip, we spoke about this young boy of 15 who beat up his mother, and there was a lot of anger that came out on the comments for that clip. People saying, "If he was my son, I would have beaten him up," or all the things that was said in that clip, how to handle this boy. But the fact is this: that boy was created by his father. That action was duplicated from his father. Instead of showing more violence, instead of standing at the side and shouting angry words, How do we change the situation to the positive? How do we step in and change the viewpoint of that young man? Help him become a proper man in society, a man with good values, instead of what he's learned from a father who probably learned it from his father and had no idea what the proper and correct way of doing things was. We should stop beating people up. Start showing them love. Start showing them support. Help our young people. Give them role models that they can look up to. A role model that wants to beat in the head of a 15-year-old boy is not doing what a role model is supposed to be doing. It's not showing him any other different way. Our Tamars remains desolate. How do we step in? How do we help children like this 15-year-old boy? How do we help to mentor them? Or do we just walk away, remain silent, maybe angry, maybe say a few words so that we can feel better about ourselves, and leave them where they are, desolate? We will share one more clip after the festive season that will bring everything together. May you have a good festive season, a blessed Christmas, and may God guide your thoughts and ways. Till next time.